Hello everyone, welcome. Let's make, because yesterday some people didn't know what we were doing. So how about today? We'll make this slightly higher. We'll make this slightly lower. And task, make fake users for debug. That's it. All right. So I guess we need to make it a bit smaller. Nope. Stop. It's really hard to select this. There we go. Nice. Okay. Make it a bit smaller. All right. That should do. While we're at it, we can make this thing a bit more like this. Cool. That handled. Nice. Hello, chat. So today we're going to continue on the Open Assistant. Oh no, I don't want code spaces. The Open Assistant, it's a project that's aiming to replicate ChatGPT in an open source manner. So we're going to try to do this. Now, obviously, the biggest part of the work is the data collection, but before that, we have to code all the systems that allow us to do the data collection. If you want to participate, this is the repository. It's fully open. Everyone's welcome to participate. There's also a project board right here where you can see a little bit what's going on. So there is a backlog. There is a to-do list. If you are interested, I guess you can just, whatever is in to-do and is not assigned, that's super duper free to do, to make. So here, to do and not assigned. If you want something large, if you want something medium, there's also by priority. Yeah, just have a go. I'm interested to watch this, but I have to work. It's not gonna be, if I don't do something stupid, I can leave it up. Yesterday, I have to consciously pay attention whether I do something dumb or not, and then I can leave it up if it's nothing dumb. So yeah, if you're interested, there's to do and not assigned. That's ordered by size. That's mostly what I think how big the task is, or by priority here. You can also look at the tags that are assigned, whether you'd like to contribute in research manners, in website, in data collection, and so on. And you're also very welcome to obviously suggest more things. Also here we have in Discord, there's a channel called Open Assistant where you're free to discuss things. There's also one on the Lion Discord that also discusses this. Recap what we did last time. So yesterday we went through and we made it such that there's an endpoint for users to send text labels. Now, maybe I have to explain the bigger picture a little bit. So the bigger picture is we want to collect data, and I think that's visible here on the repository. You can see we want to collect data, and the plan is essentially to follow instruct GPT as a system. So first, we want to create human-generated instruction fulfillment, which means essentially the humans play both the users and the assistants, right? So here it says prompt plus response, but we can also make that multi-step prompt response interactions. And therefore, we need to collect this data. Second of all, we will rank assistant outputs and human outputs, and then train a reward model. And then third, we do the reinforcement learning from human feedback. The vision is also here. We want to go further than that. We want to provide essentially the open source assistant that people can build upon, integrate with, and so on. I think that'd be really cool. It'd be really cool if that were open and if we didn't all have to pay OpenAI to do it, because that's kind of dumb and you will never be able to get it to do something interesting because it will deny almost everything because it's too spicy. Now, as I said, we're still in this phase right here. So we want to collect this training data. What we actually want to do is we want to create a Discord bot and a website that with these things we call front ends that the user can interact with. What does that mean? It means that we send the user a task, and the task could just be, please provide a prompt. And the prompt is just something you would ask the assistant. Hey, assistant, write an email that contains this and this. Hey, assistant, what was the 60th president of some country? Hey, assistant, something like this. Or the task could be, please reply as an assistant. So in that case, we take one of the prompts that was, given by the user, by users before you, and we would present it to you, and you would be able to answer as the assistant. And then we can go on. We can take a prompt that was given by a user, an assistant reply that was given by a user, and then we can create those two things, which essentially form a thread, and then we can add a user reply behind that. Like, we can ask the user, what would you as a user now reply to that interaction with the assistant? Maybe you're happy, maybe you want to clarify some things, and so on. So that's that. All the while, if we present the same thing to multiple users, we'll get multiple answers. We'll get multiple responses from someone playing the assistant. We'll get multiple continuations. That we can also use to rank. So we can ask the human, hey, here are 3 things that other humans responded in response to this prompt. Which one do you think is best? Now, that we can directly use that either to moderate data, to filter out spam and so on, or to go ahead and train this reward model that we're going to need later, like in step 2. We can collect all this data. So RLHF is reinforcement learning from human feedback. So this repository is essentially the attempt at that. We have a backend, and the backend does almost everything in terms of logic. So it decides what tasks to give and how to collect data and so on. The front ends are responsible for rendering that the data and whatever the backend gives. So today, what we're going to try to do is to make it such that the website, at least. So the Discord bot is a bit harder to develop. But the website here, such that can accept fake users. So every front end is tasked with authenticating its users. Now, obviously, a Discord bot already has that being done by Discord. A website needs to do that itself. So today, for debugging purposes, we're going to try to make it such that we can essentially activate debug mode, and there's always going to be a set of users present that I can just use from the beginning. Now, I have no idea how we're going to do that. I just thought of this task. I thought it might make life easier for a lot of people. So yeah, the first thing I actually want to do is to create an issue for myself. solve. So new issue, create a set of fake default users, yeah, for the website. During development, it's often useful to have debug users that just exist without first needing to register. This would make development easier for newcomers, as they could just flip a flag and not worry about the registration workflow. All right, we give it some labels. So the label, it's a feature that concerns the website. We'll add it to our project. The milestone, I don't think that's contained in the minimum viable prototype milestone, but you know. So here that goes into the in progress. We'll estimate it has a medium priority, and we should be done in 1 to 4 hours, which is going to be this live stream. Assign myself, and we're good to go. All right, there we go. Now we make a branch for it. So if you want to contribute, then select an issue or make an issue, or tell us and we'll make an issue, and then comment if you would like to take something. It's best to comment with like a short plan of what you want to do. That's super, and it's super clear, right? If you're on the right track and so on. It prevents people from doing work that is, you know, in a bit in the wrong direction or superfluous or something like this. If you first write a bit of a plan, then yeah. But right now, obviously, since I made the issue, I don't need to do that. But if someone else makes the issue, you would first communicate a little bit of a plan of how to solve it. In this case, I would just create the branch right here. For that, create the branch, copy the name of the branch, switch over to VS Code, git fetch, and then let's switch to that branch. I'll make the font size. It's difficult to cram everything here on one screen, but we're going to try to do that. All right, so we'll check out that branch. All right, so if we want to develop work in the website, it's probably good if we just open a bit of a terminal, git, and start ourselves an environment. Now this is still called Open ChatGPT, but we've renamed it since to Open Assistant because it's a cooler name. It's less sort of related to OpenAI because they weren't so nice to DALL-E Mini. Well, I guess I don't know if they weren't so nice, but they had problems with DALL-E Mini. We get a thought of using user stories as an X. I want to do Y so that I can Z with a description of a task. Yeah, why not? That could be a cool. I think the software engineering workflow is really like a good example for is a good example for how we initially would like to interact with these assistants, right? Will this stream be available on the channel? If I don't say or do something stupid, I'll leave it up. So bet on me. As far as you know, you cannot make ChatGPT read information from websites until you directly provide data. ChatGPT, yes, exactly. But our assistant could do that. That's the cool thing, right? We don't have to wait for OpenAI to do anything. We just go ahead and do it. If we feel now we want to make the assistant browse the web for something, we can just make it do that. And we have lots of ideas of doing these kinds of things. So don't worry. I predict this will take you guys 4 years. Well, so yeah, I have 4 years. I mean, not if we get some help, right? But we should get to like an MVP really quick. And I think, the beauty of open source is that as people contribute to it, and see that there's momentum, it attracts a lot of influx of work. So I think we can really push this and accelerate this and provide essentially provide an assistant to everyone, right? Like this could be the Linux of assistants, or I'm not sure what the good analogy is. Yeah, what are the ethical limitations? You're not allowed to take the source code, put it on a floppy disk and hit someone with it. You're not allowed. The license explicitly forbids that. Why not make a code editor that uses pre-trained templates for the AI to generate code? What you want, Codex to make a bulk of code, Copilot basically check it and lay it out. Yes, there are ideas of doing that. There's a bit of a question with respect to the viability in terms of legality. So a lot of these OpenAI APIs forbid you from using their output as like training code and so on, but you could use it potentially as in-context learning or something like this. Yeah. Open Siri. Yeah, it's like a Siri that actually works. Cool. All right, now enough talking. If we want to develop the website, right? So we have a bunch of, in this scripts folder here, we have a bunch of different stuff. So if we want to develop the website, we are developing what's called a front end. So the back end is doing the whole work in terms of data collection and so on. And I was gonna do an issue in the back end, but a community member thankfully, like gracefully took that issue, which is really important. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm doing something on the front end. So I want to go to this front end development folder right here. Now there is a README that is fairly simple. So here we just Docker compose up. If we look at the Docker compose thing, well, my NeoVim is absolutely broken. But if we look at the Docker compose, it spins up a database, and it spins up a database for the website. It spins up the backend. It doesn't check API keys. Since we're debugging, it spins up a mail server that we might need, and then we can spin up the website against that. So Docker compose up, build, and we should be good to go. Should you not use something like Keycloak to manage IAM? Yeah, so it's a bit tricky. We don't want to necessarily authenticate the users in the backend. That would be like a giant amount of work. And if we have a Discord bot already, and especially if the website uses Discord OAuth, super easy. So the authentication is essentially done for us. But yeah, it would be there'd be more sophisticated solutions. But for right now, I just want a bunch of fake users for debugging. Will it always be truthful? If I'm fat, but I want it to tell me I look great, will I be able to do this? If it is a competent assistant, it will be able to do that. Yes. There's no, like, if you hire a human assistant, there's no, law that says that they must be truthful. Obviously, it'd be good if they were, but if you instruct an employee to tell you that you're handsome and slim, even though you're clearly not, then I think most humans would do that, and just say it's part of their job. But yeah, that I guess it's not really a machine discussion. It's more like a discussion of what would you want. I think it'd certainly be capable of doing that. And I will not build anything into it that would prevent you from instructing it to do that. All right, so we're currently bringing up the Docker Compose environment. I am using a Mac with an Intel chip because it's a bit older. So my hands are nice and warm all the time. And it's breathing heavily. Seeing a sad rusty clip saying read me. Yeah. So all the while, we should probably add a second tab right here. And that could run the website itself. Yes, you can see that with Docker and OBS streaming, it's coming quite to its limits in what it can do. Let me just close a few other things. Let me bring up this. It's not easy being a MacBook with an Intel chip. All right, that's about what I can do. Cool. Yes, Docker build is going on. Website npm run dev. I believe. Let's try. We can try. All right. Disable the video preview for OBS. How I do that? View. How I do that? Docs. Profile. Scene. Tools. Right click on the video. That is okay. Enable preview. Nice. Cool. Thank you. All right. So this is the website currently. It's not live anywhere yet, but we're on it. Look, it even has cool animation. I have not developed this, so that's why it looks good. Look at this gradient. This is so cool. Yeah. So, if I log in right here, then something should happen. So I could register with my email address. So let's say test@test.com, continue. And what happens? What happens in the background? There's a big fat error. That's always good to know. Get user by email, error. Find unique. Nope. Website does not exist. The database does not exist. Ah, there we go. Port is already allocated. Oh, everything's failing. All right, so let's grab all the Docker containers and delete them. Let's try to spin them up again. And I'm not sure what the default values here are for the npm thing. Is there even... Can I just start this, or I probably need to do some kind of Prisma push. Luckily, there's readmes. Yep. All right, provides Initially, it will support this. Contributing, the website is built using npm. Good. To contribute the following setup. Good. Node version manager. Yes. Docker. Yes. Getting everything up and running. This is so easy. How do you plan to create the default users? I will have a flag that you can activate that essentially says debug fake users. And if you do that, it will just, when you try to log in with the fake user, it will just accept you. That's the plan. I want to bypass, if possible, the database for this, although it might not be possible because later we might need database entries for users to be present. Yeah. Why is it that you don't use the terminal in VS Code? Because if I have the terminal here, then there's almost nothing left of the coding screen. So that it's just a bit small if you like, because of the stream and the font size. Yeah, so navigate to front-end development. Yes, website, npm install. This one, we need this one. So we'll first try to make a user, right? And the other possibility would also be to just make a little script that makes the default user. It just creates it, does the registration for you. But we'll see. So run dev. Did you start this project? I'd say so, among, like, with other people together. I'm not like the sole founder of this, but I have pushed strongly, and I am now coordinating efforts. The DB init file could create the user, doesn't it? Yes, but I only wanted to do it at like debug time. So if we actually deploy this, these users shouldn't be created. The task text is in front of the terminal prompt for us. That's true. I'm not exactly sure what I should do about this, because the window manager sort of forces me, and there's the doc down here. The window manager kind of forces me to see. All I can do is I can like scroll up for you. I'm sorry. I guess I could do that. Take that down a notch. Put it up here like this. Okay, so we're good. Yes, let's try that again. Refresh this page. Test@test.com. So if I press enter, nothing happens, which is probably the first thing we could fix, right? Actually, let me make an issue. If one of you wants to contribute, if I press, I'm pretty sure if I press enter here, it should submit the form. This is an easy one to fix now. Sign up form should submit on enter key. Make a little screenshot. This screen here does not. This screen here should. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm wondering how we can improve the. Didn't you want to do OAuth via Docker? Yeah, we're going to have Discord authentication, but we also want to support email. But Discord should be the main one. It's just, so this is a bug website. This, that, to do. It's tiny and it has medium priority. Good. Yeah. Are you going to deploy the database via Docker and Docker Compose? In debug, yeah, it's a Docker Compose. In actual, let's say prod, right now it's an Ansible playbook that deploys a Docker container. People who join in the middle have no idea what's going on. That's true. That's the good thing about Minecraft, right? You can join at any time. You know what's going on. Sign-in link has been sent to your email address. So that should be somewhere here in the logs. Let's see. Let's see. Fatal. No, running upgrade. Checkpoint complete. What do we do? Database does not exist. Yada, yada, yada. Well, that doesn't sound too good, honestly. Yeah. Let's actually see whether or not the yeah, that doesn't sound too good. Auth verify. Maybe a pinned comment in live chat saying what's going on. Yeah, that's what the black messages or the white message on the black thing is for. But yeah, I see it's not super. Might not be the most helpful. All right, we need to check whether everything is even connected correctly. So let's go over to the website. And I have a Docker file. We should probably get back to the README and see whether the environment variables line up correctly. Okay, database configurations are stored in Prisma. Let's look there. Prisma schema. Here. Provider. So there's an environment variable called database URL. Question is, where is it? So in the N file right here, we see the database URL concerns a Postgres user, a Postgres password, and an OCGPT website database. Now, I think in the Docker Compose, that's different. Compose in the front end, we're having the WebDB probably makes the default database, which is called Postgres as well, right? That's not too good. And then the end-to-end demo, database OC. So I think I did that wrong. And I think this here should have Postgres user, Postgres password. Let's see what Copilot says here. Postgres DB. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So let's have that. Let's have this. And let's copy here, this one, like this. I hope that works. No, thank you, Marketplace. Go back. Cancel it. Stop it. Down and up. Off topic, why are you not on MLST lately? Because I have too much stuff to do. And I'm not needed as much there. Because, I don't know. Whenever topics come back up where I'm more useful, I guess they will invite me more. But I'm more like a frequent guest. So I'm getting called up. I'm getting called whenever need arises, like Batman. Except I fight the bad opinions and not criminals. What is the model that's behind Open Assistant? How does it compare to GPT-3? There's no model yet. So the goal for Open Assistant is that at least there's a variant of it that always runs on consumer hardware. That's really important because I think everybody should have access to it, and that also means that it should be reasonably possible to run the thing on your own hardware, or at least something that you can like pay, or with not, you don't need a supercluster to run it. That brings some limitations, but I think it's worth it to trade that, to do the trade-off. So, as I said, we don't know yet exactly what, but we're pretty sure that it's going to be awesome. Manage Docker containers from VS Code. Yes, that's true. I'm not super familiar with VS Code yet. I'm just migrating from NeoVim. Isn't the debug skip API key check what you're trying to do? No, the API key check it checks whether or not the front end sends a valid API key to the back end. It skips that, which is useful for debugging to skip that. However, what we're trying to do right now is to essentially skip the need to create a user in the front end. So let's try that again. I'm gonna try to log in. So this is the sign. This is also a bit of a like just the user experience. Here it says log in, right? And then I come to the sign up page, where if I want to log in, I need to go here, which doesn't work yet. But I click on login and it's sign up. But minor detail. All right. So let's see whether now actually something happened. Not here. How about here? Did we send out an email? No, we did not. Attempting to upgrade Alembic at startup. See, I've never worked with the front end. What's your view on contrastive search for text generation? Makes the 300M generation as good as 175B model generation. Yes, search is needed in generation. So if I don't see this whole ChatGPT will replace Google as a search engine. I see the language models as essentially the equivalent to humans, or not equivalent to humans, but they kind of absorb information and they build like some latent representation, and they can recall bits and pieces they can interpolate. So they know something, quote unquote, right, from their memories. But it's not like they have the source information at hand when they produce text. On the other hand, Google, for example, has the source information perfectly available, yet they can't interpolate that well. So humans are super productive when they are augmented by a search engine. Therefore, I don't see why, therefore it should be possible to augment the language models with a search engine and make them super duper powerful. So I strongly believe in that. And if Open Assistant ever gets off the ground, works, we will build in a retrieval component, definitely, because it's just too powerful to ignore. All right, we are going to debug what's going on right here. We're going to debug why things aren't happening. That's why we go to here, website. What do we have? Source. I could probably read in the README, but I never read instructions. That's for boring people. Sign up. Okay. So here we have the sign in form. This calls this sign in function. Next, that's directly from next auth. Sign in. Token provider. Sign in with email element current value. That probably will get the email address that I typed in. Yes, there's a ref on there. AI plus sources OP. It'll be the non-restricted open source AI like ChatGPT. Yes, exactly. It could even make search better. It could definitely make search better. Yes. AI plus source. Yes, obviously. Source code is a good medium to communicate from humans to machines. We knew that already, but it's just been like one way so far. It's just been that the humans communicate to the machines, like the instructions. But I think even as like a two-way communication is probably pretty good. And machines interacting with other machines, source code is also really good. Isn't sticky. Anonymous user would be more stickier. I guess, but that's sort of, isn't that sort of tracking? So wait. Let's focus. Sign up. Yes. Email. Sign in with email. Should not. JSX props should not use arrow. Is this arrow? This is arrow. Well, I don't care what I should or shouldn't do. You can't tell me what to do. So this is the email provider. I just want to see what's going on here. Let's put in a debugger. Let's open that console. And let's do this. And we can also go back to the README and see whether there's something here to help us. To create an account, log in via the user email authentication. Yes. Navigate to, check the email. See, I knew I'm stupid. Localhost 1080. That's the mail server. Ha, okay. It worked. Wow. Insane. Do you know whether or not code that you've gotten portions from ChatGPT requires a license? The model seems to be hallucinating every time if I ask if it wants credits. Something, if I was to publish the code on GitHub, sometimes it says use GPL license, other times to use MIT license. It's an ongoing question. So I'm not sure of the, I'm not a lawyer, right? This is not legal advice. I'm not sure of the considerations there. For certain, ChatGPT may just one-to-one copy-paste code that is somewhere on GitHub, right? If it outputs that, and that code is whatever, GPL licensed. It's most clear if it's patented. If it's patented, you like don't. Like you're in the wrong posting that. You may be slapped with a fee or royalties or a lawsuit. Again, not a lawyer. If it has a copyright, you may be subject to copyright because that is a creative work by another author and they control the means by which it is reproduced. Therefore, you posting that code on GitHub is not okay, even if ChatGPT wrote it, at least as far as I understand it. Now, it gets murky. It gets murky when it comes to, well, what if ChatGPT just kind of is inspired by that code and doesn't exactly reproduce it, but changes it a little? That's a complete gray area. As a human, you're perfectly allowed to look at other people's source code and then essentially be inspired by it and do it in your own way. So what's protected under copyright is often just the expression of a creative idea, not the idea itself. But as I said, there are many considerations here, and I'm by no means, a lawyer. So good, we are logged in. Essentially, look, this is our user. Sign out. We're now signed out. Log in. Have an account. I want to log in. So we don't even have a login page yet, right? Okay, you want GPTJ, probably. I want GPT-4chan to be the base model. Yes, yes. I'm sure that will be fine. I'm sure that will actually. It's pretty useful to be like an anti-base model. So to just steer away, like classifier-free guidance, to just steer away from whatever GPT-4chan would say. I'm pretty sure that would even work okay-ish. Will yesterday's video be available? I haven't looked through it yet whether it's whether I did said something dumb or not. So if not, then we might. Okay, so we confirmed that works. There's a sign up page, there's a verify page. Okay. Now sign in with email. Sign in. I don't know next auth. That's the problem. Right. I don't know next auth. We'll probably need to do some research on next auth. Will you also be coding the model? I don't know yet. Hopefully not. I'm very excited that there are a lot of people who are interested in helping here. So there's gonna be people that are much more capable than me doing these kinds of things, and I hope someone much more competent and capable than me is going to be involved with model training. But I'll certainly be accompanying it. All right, so let's see. We have sign in. Using the sign in method ensures the user ends back page they started or after completing the sign in flow. We'll also handle CSRF tokens for you automatically when signing with an email. CSRF, sorry, cross-site something request forgery, I guess. I'm not sure. The sign-in method can be called in different ways. Redirects the sign-in page when clicked. Starts the OAuth sign-in flow when clicked. Here, Google. Starts the email sign-in flow, specifying a callback URL. We did that using the redirect false option. Okay, additional parameters. Okay. Good. So sign in seems to be this. Now, that will just send you an email. Oh, that's just a flow. It'll send you an email. You click on the email and it will go to the page. No longer valid. Sign in. Okay. So that's the flow. I guess what you could do is then save this into a database and so on and so forth. Okay, we don't want to do that necessarily. What we want to do is we simply want to create some fake users. Use session. The easiest way to check if someone is signed in. Use session. Returns an object containing two values, data and status. Loading, authenticated, unauthenticated. Every protected page load has to make server-side request. Okay. Configuration. No. Providers. Here, there should be maybe some local phase. Wow, that's a lot of providers. Overview. Using a built-in OAuth provider, using a custom, using credentials. Credentials provided to sign in with arbitrary credentials, such as username, password. Why not? Next auth is F for password login. Okay. Need to wrestle the control out of this, out of the hands of OpenAI. I mean, OpenAI is doing cool work, but yeah. No DB session store with credentials provider. Ah, wait, what? Okay. That's a bit. We'll try. We'll try to configure a credentials provider. And if it doesn't work, then yeah. Providers. Get providers. Is there some kind of configuration file? Maybe this, maybe here. No. We'll just search around for it. Maybe here. Maybe we'll just search for Discord. That seems to be easier. There we go. See? That was easy. You can do it using JWT in the client. Okay. So here we need a credentials or is JWT? That's not a separate provider, right? Because that's more like a method of storing. Can only be used if JSON web tokens are enabled for sessions. All right. I'm starting to think that I'm going to spend a lot of time here. Let's see. need to hash email verification tokens. Session. There we go. What's this? Where is this? Where do I find this file? Where do I find this file? Session. This is like config options. Options. Default value. Anyone know where this file is? Providers. Next to auth options. Probably here, no? Strategy, JWT. We're already good. We're already good. Why so? Why? We're already cool. Completely cool. All right. So let's grab the credentials provider from here. Good. Now here's the Discord provider. Okay, if process and debug fake users. Oh, I forgot. I forgot Copilot exists. I forgot I don't need to code anymore. That surprised me. Okay, empty block. No, it's not empty. All right, so fake users, credentials. Authorize. We're just gonna find it. But I still need to register somehow. So these are found in the database, no? So with the credentials provider, I need to provide credentials. The credentials used to generate suitable form in the sign-in page. You can specify whatever fields you want. Okay. Cool. Username, text, placeholder. There's no placeholder. Okay. Password. Authorize. Now here we should just be able to log in. No? Authorize credentials. User. What do I need to return? Your endpoint. Okay. We have user data. Return it. Could not be retrieved. What's supposed to be in this user object? Like, what is in there? Is it just something? Like what's there? This one. Okay, good. User, name, email, image. Huh, okay. All right. How about we just return your typical user? What's a typical user model? I don't know. Honestly, I'm that dumb. I don't know. Are we doing authentication as a way to deal with bots? Well, we just want to. So authentication is used for multiple things. So one is, yes, to deal with bots. The other one is also to make a leaderboard, to reward people that provide a lot of data, so we give him some swag or something like this. Obviously, the fame of being a top prompt contributor to Open Assistant will be forever valuable. So yeah. Well, oh, I can just look it up. I can just look it up. What it needs. That is great. Thank you. So I will user interface user extends default user. Default user has this. Okay. That's fair. So an ID, a name, email, and an image optionally. So let's call it for an ID, a name, the username. No? No, not happy. The expected time type. What's the problem? Do I need to return some promise or something? String. It's a string. ID is a string. Okay. ID. Like this. Now it's happy. Very good. Very good. Providers. Push it. Push the provider. Yes. All right. Does this already work? I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So we still need to go to the sign up page here. And sign in with email, providers. Let's see, what do we push it as? Providers push Discord, credentials, name credentials, Discord. Yep, but okay. Well, how do I? So here it just says Discord provider, right? How do I access that now? To understand that they probably gather user interactions for further training data, but if you'd have a stop button, that would be a good marker if something went really wrong, I guess. Whether Yannick actually has eyes, that we'll never find out. Yeah, how do I access this? Providers? It just says providers, no? Push email, push Discord, push credentials. What if I have multiple credentials? Providers. This is credentials. Credentials config. Type credentials. I don't know. So I'll just try. I'll just try. Providers. Where is it? Does this sign in get called? Let's go to references. Go to references. Nowhere. Ah, I see. That's the page. Providers, get providers. I can't really do more than that. I'll just try this. And I'm not sure which console this would actually be printed. Is this server or client side? We're just going to have to find out. So here's the console. Undefined. So what? It's default client side. Cool. Thank you. We'll just put the providers here. Fresh. Can't you keep a list of JWT tokens, switch between them? Yes. I want to make it really easy for a newcomer to get into this. So there's email. And that's it. That's it. So some like we're missing something. No. We are missing something where we need to somehow, so API auth. Here we have providers. We put it here. Is there something off layout? No. For links, rating, setup tests, middleware. No. Styles, that's not it. Next config, no. DS, Tailwind, nope. None of this. Delegate this task. Yeah, but what else should we do now? Sign in as a client-side component. Have you set the environment? You are... Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was too dumb to do that. Before we set it, let's do the ye good old always true. Refresh. Providers, credentials. Yes, good old dev moment. Cool. Okay, so yeah, now we need to, I guess, render that somehow. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Satvik. Very kind. I would have looked around for another 15 minutes or so at least before I would have gotten that. So it is actually called credentials, right? So yeah. We'll copy that. Your credentials on click input. This should be a form, no? I'm not sure what's this. What kind of element is this? Chakra. UI form. Is there a form? Form. Because I for sure want this to submit whenever enter is pressed. Form control. Forms. Input. I mean, ultimately, input. input. So they don't appear to have a custom form element. So I'll just make like a regular form. I hope that's fine. What's a stack? Oh, okay. There we go. Form. Form. Good. Excellent. Good as new. Color scheme gray. On click. No is disabled. False. We'll say on submit. Console. Debug. Hello. And then we'll make the button of. I hope that's working. Type submit. Let's try. What's this? Nope. Yeah, okay. So the top one, the top one should be ours that we just made. Wrap it in a form control. Boom. That worked. It worked. Do I need to wrap it in a form control? Because form control, form label is the form control if I want like the label and all, like it all going together. But this should be fine, no? I think this is fine. If not, then helpful people can yeah, do that. On click, sign in with email. Let's make in with debug credentials. How do I interact with that? So email element. Is this the good way to do it with refs, or should I somehow like, obviously there's the event and I need to prevent the fault here. But is it a good way to get the values out of the event or out of refs, or put them in state? I'm super not sure. So on submit, we have right here, sign in with debug credentials. And we probably don't want an envelope. What's that? React icons FA. Okay. All right. Which ones do we have? FA. What's FA? Ah. Okay. Font awesome. That's FA. So debugging. What's a good symbol for debugging? The Canadian flag. They're always a bit buggy. How about a wrench? A bug? Yeah, why not? Is the bug? Yeah. Okay. That's funny. Nice. Okay. Maybe we can like superimpose like a stop and a bug. So let's trace that, and let's also import a bug Oh, two commas. Tres commas. All right. Excellent. So we now have a bug icon which should show up here. This MacBook is stressing over streaming. It's crazy. Continue with debug user. I should probably not even have a password. Like just the user would be fine, no? So username. Yes. Ref debug user name. Let's make a ref. Debug username L2 to keep with the style that other people better suited than me have provided. So this implicitly has an any type. Okay. What does Copilot say? Copilot is smarter than me. I don't know TypeScript. I just do whatever Copilot says I should do. So let's go back to this auth here and see what we should provide as, so in providers, what should we provide for credentials? So in credentials, yes, we get that. Await reuser. Type credentials acquired. Authorize, yes. What do we need to submit? Sign in. Okay. So just sign in with the callback URL. Okay, why not? And probably the credentials now. So username would be that. I think so. I think that'll work out. Will work out fine. Now we need to go back to here and just remove the password because that's kind of useless. We just need a username. TypeScript is totally great. I know TypeScript is great. I've just never done it. I just always use Copilot. It's really in, like, I would have not guessed that, I don't know, 3 years ago or so, how amazing Copilot could be. Because I've long been using, AI assisted coding tools like Tab9 and so on, and I was always a big fan of them. But then Copilot is another jump, and it's just crazy. Maybe this is what people were scared of. No, I'll read it. I'll read it back, and I'll check. I think I'm competent enough to check. To see that what it's doing makes sense, but I don't know by heart, how do I this and that in next auth or something like this. And for that, Copilot is really cool. So here we have a test user. Let's see. And we are logged in. Yes, look at that. Account settings doesn't work yet. Probably there is no name here, but we are in, and that's what counts. Now, let's make that a bit more pretty, shall we? So currently the login page is, what's this? You're already using a popover button, but only pop one popover. Okay, so this is a bit too close together. What we should probably, well, here there's spacing. What if we up that to like 5? Barely, barely does something. What if we remove this form? Does it do better? No. Okay, so it's not the fact that we have a form here. Although that could probably... No. I think that's... So let's leave it with the 5. It could even benefit from a 6 here. Yes, that's better. All right. Now maybe let's just outline this and say that, because I want to make sure this is for debugging. Border I want to make sure that's clearly visible that this is for debugging. Yes. Okay. And what if we also here had maybe a span that says debug for something like this. Now let's make that orange as well. Text orange. Let's make it like this, a bit darker. Or is that brighter? No. It's more orange. Yeah, more orange. And let's make this here relative, and let's make this here absolute, top 0, left 0. Okay. Actually, let's... How does this look? Not too bad. It's probably a bit wonky making this inside, but then on top. But it doesn't wonk up the whole rest of the layout, right? Because this here is this stack thing, and otherwise this would be a stack. I guess I could make this its own thing. I could bring the form in, make this the outside. I guess I could. For this being debugging, it's quite a bit. Well, but no, but then I'm not sure what this stack thing. The stack is okay. It's like a div with styling. I'm just gonna keep it that way. It doesn't need to be pretty because it just needs to be. There are multiple formatters. One of them should be configured. Okay, configure prettier. Excellent. And what we should do is there should be a component somewhere that the avatar. Is that this one? So account settings, email. So this is what shows here, right? Yeah. So display name, we'll do session user name or session user email. And we'll put that here. Now, if we log in, like test2. Sorry, I haven't read chat in a while. Tailwind, yes. Where are the other videos of you working on this? I'd love to follow along. I guess I can put the other one on. I'll have to watch it back. This one I haven't said anything stupid, which is good. How ChatGPT's Copilot code assistant compare in terms of accuracy and quality? I'm not sure. I've not programmed with ChatGPT. I've obviously asked it some stuff, but I've not productively coded with it. Yeah. Doesn't have as much knowledge as Copilot. Yeah, I can imagine that. Perhaps a debugging banner. Yeah. Yeah. I guess we could push this to eternity. Center it on the line. Really? It kind of looked okay. You mean move it? Okay, yes. I know what you mean. That's actually smart. Yes, we can do that. That would look very pretty. I agree. But why don't we have the display name quite yet here? Okay. Let's log the user here. Come on. Zezion. But if MacBook slow. MacBook slow. MacBook very slow. Very good. Okay. Name. Yes. Here we have name. 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 Hidden. It showed the email before. Did I hallucinate? Did I hallucinate that? Did I hallucinate the fact that over up here it showed the email? Oh no. Okay. Large. Okay. Obviously. Dun, 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 dun. Go on. Yes. There we go. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now let's take care of the... Let's take care of that form. I like that idea. So that's the sign up. Where do we have it? Salute. So maybe like this to just make it like on the line. Yes. So, but we need to push it away a bit. Let's this. Yes. If we're really in it, we can make it aligned exactly with the... Probably we can't. But how about this? Yeah, and now white background. Yeah. 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 Okay. Need some padding. Whoosh. That looks sweet. That looks nice. Okay. I'm not too unhappy with this. Very pretty. Very pretty. Okay. So, I guess that makes a good commit. Didn't need to do much. Yes. Oh, we could also change the README of the website to document the process. Getting everything up and running. How about here? Using debug user. If you want to, you can use the workflow. Run npm run, and now we need our thing. Where is it? By the way, this thing is called, I'm not sure if you even see that. It's called Mackie. It's a key a clipboard history. It's one of the best things ever. I guess we can here. No. Here. Yes. Debug fake users. Ah. We should also remove that. Good. Better. Equals true. Let's say 1. True. Whatnot. We should probably try that out, you know. We should try this out before we recommend other people do that. It'd probably be good if we did. Oh, also, I think if we set this to false, it still works. I think what we need to do is we need to convert it to a Boolean. Just my limited experience with JavaScript. So that works, but if we set it to false, I'm fairly confident that would still give me the form. We need to actually make it to a Boolean. Let's search for that. No, to Boolean, this one. That one. That one's pretty good, no? Or this one? Because that's way newer. Boolean. Equivalent to true. Yes. Equivalent to false. Yes. Because that has a lot of downloads. What about the other one? 1 million downloads. 1,000 downloads. But probably this one. I'm gonna say this one. Okay, Boolean. So look, see, the form is still there because essentially it's a string that says false, which is true. Ah, surprised you don't use ChatGPT. It's still kind of wonky, you know, copying stuff around. Copilot is really good. I think they feed the file names and structures as well into Copilot because it's very good. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but it's quite good. Okay, so let's say, do we have it already? Package. Do we have Boolean? No. Let's do that. Okay, Boolean. Good. Well, now we can. I first want to do this. So the issue is how best to do this, right? With settings and stuff like this. Because technically I'd have to every single time that I import or that I use the setting, I'd have to convert it to a Boolean right there, which is, I think, a bit, you know, I'd rather convert it once. But for now, what we can do is go ahead and use it. Oh, we were on the correct page. Yep. If that. So here we need Boolean, import Boolean from Boolean. Yes. Back. All right. Good. So now compiling, we have seen this. We should no longer see it. We still see it. No. What does mean replication in this context? It means that we're going to try to do the same thing. That's it. Good. So if we now do true, we should see the form. And switch back, refresh. Installing a package for converting to Boolean. Yeah, I know, but you know, it does all of these things like, you know, true, 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 T, yes, on, one, the number one. And it does all of these to false, which is even more important, right? So, yeah. So, and we see it. Excellent. Cool. Yeah, that is that. Okay, let's continue in the README. And we have a bit of a preview here. No, that was the split. Let's fold that in and get a preview. You can use the following workflow. Okay. Use the login button, the top right, to go to the login page. you should see a section for debug. Enter any username you wish. You will be logged in as that user. Good. So now let's make a commit. All right. Yep. Created debug provider. What are you making? I am making Open Assistant, which is an ChatGPT like thing. All right. The commit takes a while because next lint takes a while. Staged. We just have changes. Pre-commit. Let's go. Yeah. No. GitHub link. It's in the there's a should be a black box somewhere here, I guess. Are you planning on watermarking the output? Why? No watermarking. That's dumb anyway. No, I mean it can't work. Like, it can work if your output is an image. You can encode into some pixels something. You could also store some hash of everything you've ever produced, right? And then you could sort of and you could kind of prove that you already had it at some point, like by putting the hash on the chain, on the blockchain. But you cannot watermark linguistic output because okay. Can I'm not sure how to do. Timeout. There's no way to watermark a linguistic output. Like, what are you gonna do? I can always say, no, I came up with that, right? Unless you have like a hash on a blockchain that proves that you have produced that. But then you could also just save stuff in a database and have the government believe you, or something like this, right? There's no method of watermarking a language as far as I am aware of, right? What is Scott Aronson doing for OpenAI? I'm not sure, but it's not like, just think about it for a second. You can't like no. Yeah. Maybe I'm stupid, right? Maybe it's like I don't get it, but it doesn't seem like it's possible. Credentials provider. If is set next off is created that lets one log in with our username. This simplifies the experience for new who just want to, e.g., create a UI component. Okay, let's do that. Create pull request. What will be the base model? I don't know yet. Maybe GPT-J or something. Yeah, I'm gonna need to open a web browser. VS Code gets too cluttered. Reviewers are assigned this. Yes, yes, yes. I think we're good. I think we're okay. Reviewers automatically assigned. Surely AI models like GPT prefer some words. Yeah, you can build, there are OpenAI detector models that work quite well. Yes, but it's always a statistical thing. It's never a proof. Because I, as a human, could always say, no, I came up with that, right? Unless you have actually posted it somewhere before, like you posted it, I don't know, on the blockchain, even some website, like you posted it on Facebook, I don't know. If that piece of text already exists, a week ago, then people will have trouble believing me that I just came up with it yesterday, right? Because it's quite unlikely. However, if that doesn't, otherwise you just have like a statistical indication, like, well, it looks like it came from a language model. Well, what do you even say? Because we don't even have access to the weights. We're essentially left with taking OpenAI's word for it again, right? So either, I don't see what's the difference. Like, because right now, if they were to come and say, well, we produced this piece of text, we just have to take their word for it, right? And if they say, well, this has a statistical watermark, we just have to say their word, take their word for it. So I don't see that. In a picture, you can change a bunch of pixels, right? So that it's doesn't, to a human doesn't bother. You can change a bunch of pixel to actually recognize it. And you can do that in a way that's robust to even visual distortions and so on. Like content ID hashes and stuff like this exist. But with language is way harder, because what are you going to do? Change a bunch of words? Like, that doesn't make sense, because you're going to change the piece of text, right? So, yeah. You sound like a chatbot. Yeah, so I don't see the watermarking, unless I'm like not thinking of some technique. But if you just from the text, like just having a piece of text, and then just from the text being able to determine, as an outsider with no access to like secret information or so, as an outsider, maybe with the access of a public key, but as an outsider, to be able to confirm, yes, this was produced by that language model, that's going to be like impossible. If, yeah, as I said, one method would be to just post whatever they produce, post the hashes somewhere, like build some Merkle tree or so you can quickly verify. But that's not watermarking. That's just storing the text. You don't change the text. I don't see how they're going to change the text. That's it. That's my take on it. It's been proven that Google is already not indexing AI content from ChatGPT. I don't see, like, obviously they're not going to scrape ChatGPT website, or maybe they have maybe Google actually has classifiers on what they index and what they don't index, right? But that is more, again, that's a statistical thing. It's, this text is likely to come from a chat model. and not from a human. That you can never have a proof for that. Like by definition, as chat models get more and more capable, they'll sound more and more like humans. Imagine 5 years ago, you could tell when a picture was created by some sort of a GAN or so, and nowadays it like gets pretty. You see like, ooh, the eyes, the papilla is not perfectly round and stuff like this. Yeah. Will it have the restrictions and limitations like ChatGPT has? No restrictions. No, obviously. So, there is an argument to be made. For example, there is this effort. There are various efforts around stable diffusion to sort of make all-encompassing stable diffusions, including material that is like not safe for work, and to even tune the model to that. And there are certainly applications, right? But you could argue that a model is actually even more useful when it has certain exclusions, like it actually excludes not safe for work stuff, because this way businesses, for example, can also rely on it in part to do certain things, right? So it would be less of a restriction, more a consideration of usefulness. Now, that being said, it would obviously be the most useful. Like, the intermediate step is to have multiple models that do multiple things. It would be the most useful if the model could do everything, but you could easily instruct it in given situations not to do something. Like, you could have some stable diffusion model that you tell, I know you could do all these not safe for work, but please, right now I'm trying to display some product offerings to customers. Please, no gore, no this, no adult content, and so on. I think that would be the dream ultimately, because that's most like humans. Like, all of you are perfectly able to swear and to talk inappropriately, yet in a professional context, you hopefully mostly choose not to do that. And I believe the most, the best path forward would be to essentially endow our models with the same things, with the same abilities, to essentially have capabilities, but then be able to be instructed not to do something. That's my take. All right, this was a code. I'm not sure what we should do. I have like 5 minutes left. Yeah, so I'll just hang around and look at my pull request. Maybe something happens. Thank you, Lucas Par. Hooray. But yeah, it's very exciting. What I think Open Assistant, if the open source community pulls together, and if we do that, we could have a really capable thing. Yeah, if this becomes like something like, there are a few open source projects that then underpin the world, and such a unifying technology like an AI assistant could be such a thing. Like, it's completely viable that you have lots of companies each with their own AI assistants, but it's also completely viable that all of these assistants are essentially based on the same assistant. And I think it's better if that same assistant, if that's the world we live in, is an open assistant. Much like we all enjoy that most of the world's operating systems are built around some sort of Linux, and not that Samsung has their really very own operating system and Huawei has their very own operating system, and so on. I think the world's better off with Linux as the underpinning. Yeah. And you could still branch off from that, right? Every vendor takes whatever Android and makes it a bit their own. What's your plans on hosting the finished product? Well, as I said, you should be able to run this yourself on consumer hardware. or to host it on like a SageMaker endpoint or something like this. We plan to make it small enough such that it is actually, you know, capable of being run everywhere. But if we make it larger, then we'll find something. Do you know about KOSM by Versys? No, I don't. A 1660. I don't know much about GPUs, I have to be honest. But what we want to target is more like something like a 3090 or a 4090 or so, high-end GPUs, but still consumer GPUs, or maybe one GPU that you rent in a data center, but not, 1,000. So maybe at the beginning, we'll only get it small enough that you maybe need one machine with 4 or 8 GPUs. But then we saw what happened with Stable Diffusion. And in Stable Diffusion, people very quickly discovered tricks and things to just really bring down the memory requirements and the speed. And we believe that if we just get it close to where it's runnable, then people will figure something out. Yeah. How can we distribute the training model? It seems massively distributed training. No, I think we'll be fine finding sponsors for training this. That's not the big part here is really the data collection. So the faster we are finished with the whole website and bot and that, the faster we can go out and really tell people, hey, we need data, please interact. Please interact with the model. Please provide some training data. We could also think of maybe paying some people crowd work style or handing out prizes, things like this. There's going to be a leaderboard. So that's going to be the limiting factor, not necessarily the training. The training is going to be, I believe, fairly easy-ish. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Favorite Swiss YouTuber. It's a thank you. That is an honor. GPGA's 6B model, not going to run on consumer hardware. It is almost, right? Almost. You can, a 6B, if you quantize to 16-bit, it gets there. It fits into like 11 gigabytes or something like this. So not too bad. What are other projects trying to replicate ChatGPT? I'm not super sure, but I think there are some, which is good. The more there, I mean, it's obviously not good if there's too many because people would rather band together. But I believe a couple, so that we try a few different approaches, is definitely healthy. Gamified. We'll try to give people some rewards, some cool rewards. But then also, we have to make it so that people actually enjoy giving good answers and not just giving many answers. So those who ultimately sponsor it will be requested to be limited and censored as the media. Well, yeah, but if we just release it Creative Commons, what can they do? Otherwise, we won't accept sponsorship if the sponsor says, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. And text is I think text in that regard is a bit less, quote unquote, dangerous than something like Stable Diffusion, because with Stable Diffusion, you can, I think, rile up people more if you get it to produce something iffy. Whereas if you get it to produce some like dumb text, you could be like, well, okay, I know some teenagers who could have written that as well. But if you get Stable Diffusion to produce some gory images or so, it's like, the teenagers around the block can't just do that. But they can produce some insults. So I think people look, even though the problem is essentially the same, I don't think people will look at the outputs the same way. They will, I think, with Open Assistant and all the chat models, people are much more realistic in that the actual danger comes from applying, like the person who then deploys the model to do some task, and not the model itself, which is, I I don't really follow the logic of sort of blaming the model itself, or blaming or seeking to censor the model itself. Can you please give us a small demo of the app? Things on my machine. Well, okay, yes, that's something we could do, right? Do we still have it running? Yes. So I've actually never gone through the web workflow. So I hope that's gonna work. So you log in here. I don't think we have most of the tasks even implemented yet. So if you have the debug mode on, then you log in with some user. It will let you log in. And here are the tasks. So this is rate a prompt and output now. Let's see if anything happens at all. What about the people who get triggered? Well, aren't they triggered already? I'm an ER doc on shift. We've been trying to figure out how to use GPT-3 or GPT-Neo to pull from Rose's emergency medicine or the internet book. How do I do this? I don't know. I don't know. You can't make it pull from some book, as far as I'm aware. You can only ask it things that it already knows. It will never be able to look up some stuff. Automatic prompt generation on new trained on Azure servers, which are powerful servers. We'll find, like, money is ironically not the problem, or compute isn't. It's labor. Like, this programming labor to actually get the things done, get the bot done, get the website done, and the labor of providing the training data. So, okay, this doesn't seem to. So, well, the goal would be that you have tasks here that you could do. For example, you rank some output by the assistant or something like this, and once you've done that, you could do these tasks here. That will send it to the backend. What we did today was simply to make one form for the login. Yeah. So you can find a lot of information on the repository right here. Where is it? Here. There is a Notion page that explains the high-level protocol. So I have to open this in an incognito window, otherwise my Notion opens. This is just small thing. So here is the high-level architecture. So what we developed today is on this website. Everything communicates with the backend. So the backend gives you some task, and then you present that to the user, and the user does the task and sends that back to the backend. That's the basic protocol. So the user asks for a new task, the front end tells that to the backend gives it a new task. Then the front end will post that task to the user saying, hey, user, could you please, I don't know, pretend you're the assistant, give a response to this prompt right here. At the same time, the front end acknowledges to the backend, yes, I've actually told the user to do this task. Then at some point, the user will come back, and at some point, the user will come back here with something, with their fulfillment of the task, and the front end reports that to the backend. The backend needs to make sense out of everything, essentially. And yeah, says thank you, and then the next task starts. So imagine we want to break up the conversation between a user and then the assistant into like individual parts. Each part becomes a task that we give to the user saying, hey user, here's a conversation so far. Please give an answer as if you were the assistant. So that's going to be done for the first step right here of the plan. Here is the plan. The plan is first, it's the Instruct GPT paper plan. First, we collect human-generated samples. Using that, we we train in a supervised fashion. Second step, we'll try to get ranking data for a reward model. Third step, we'll train the reinforcement learning from human feedback. And that's that. All right, I need to leave, but thank you very much for being here. If you want to participate, we are looking for anyone who can help, who wants to help. And if you want to wait and then play the assistant a little bit for the supervised data, that would also be really cool. I'll announce that at some point. Yeah, thanks for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful few slower days wherever you are. And that's that. All right, stream over. Thank you very much.